So 5 years later, I still use this almost every day. It's the same device, never upgraded. If you're thinking about getting an iPad, let me walk you through what these 5 years has been like. I got this iPad 5 years ago, and it was before when I started medical school, and I didn't originally plan on getting it. I've been saving up for a new phone, and I was tutoring, I was putting money aside, but then I decided to get an iPad instead, and that was a really good decision. So I've been previously drawing art on canvases and doing oil painting, doing sketches, and this really opened up a whole new avenue for me. Suddenly I had this portable way to draw and design wherever I was. I could undo my mistakes, choose different colors, and pick point colors from images. It created a whole new way of designing and creating. I was also playing orchestra at the time, so I was able to use my iPad for sheet music and also for my own practices. I didn't have to print out all the music out again. Everything was basically right there in my iPad. It's PDFs, it's great for annotating and any documents that you have. I also use it for studying. It even became my camera for a while because I didn't upgrade my phone. Getting the iPad over a new phone is one of the best decisions I've ever made because a phone is just a phone, and this iPad has completely changed the way I created, I studied, and I worked. For the size of my iPad, this iPad is the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. It's the 4th generation, and I believe it's from 2020. I have it in 256 gigabytes. Let me just check real quick. It is 256 gigabytes. Right now it's at 241. And I've actually never really did a whole big deep clean, but I have been cleaning it throughout the years. But this is definitely a great size, at the size of a real life paper document. Also with dual screens and multitasking, it's really good to have a bigger screen. Sometimes I would feel like it's really heavy, but at the end of the day, I'm really glad that it's actually a big size. But I wouldn't take it really around with me in hospitals or anything, so it doesn't really matter to me the size and portability of it. I think a big iPad would be a really good decision. Smaller iPads are a lot more portable, but I don't think I would use this on the train or anything. I'm just scared of getting robbed, especially because I live in Europe. Durability of my iPad has been holding up to great shape, incredible shape. There has been cases where people have their iPads bent. Personally, I think my iPad is pretty straight, and I've actually not been too meticulous with it. I have sat on it for a few times, like I've accidentally sat on my iPad. It was on my bed, and my iPad is still straight. It never got bent. Speed-wise, same as when I first got it. It never got slower. Battery life, it is the same. I did notice my MacBook, which I got like around the same time a year later, the battery has gone down, definitely, but I haven't noticed any battery changes with my iPad. I have had to get a new Apple Pencil. It just stopped working, my Apple Pencil, so I had to get a new one. I never got it checked, but the iPad, nothing has changed. It works just like when I first got it. I use Procreate for art. It is not a free app. You have to pay for it. But I would say it's really worth it. It's called Procreate. There's a lot of tutorials on YouTube, and it's one of the most popular iPad drawing apps. It's basically the most popular and everyone uses it. And for my animations, I'm not really into animations, so I still use Procreate for my art. And the other main app I use is Notability. So Notability was the first note-taking app I ever got. I do have both Notability and Goodnotes, but I got Notability first. When I was looking at the apps, the Notability interface was just simpler and it was more clear to me and clean to me, but I really wanted Goodnotes because everyone at that time was using Goodnotes, and Goodnotes was basically the representation of aesthetic notes, and even my classmates later, all of them use Goodnotes. So that's also kind of why I got influenced to get Goodnotes. I'd been using Notability for a few years, and then I got Goodnotes. I love both apps. I use it for completely different things. Notability, I use it for most of my meetings. Goodnotes, I use it mostly as a kind of, I used it for a lot of tutoring, so I can kind of like separate my life into the two apps. And Goodnotes, I also use it for planning. Notability, it's mainly just like school and school stuff, but it does have like my life documents. I use all of my documents in Notability, and then Goodnotes has like just writing and on a plain canvas and like planning. So that's like kind of the two apps. I use it for like different purposes. There are things I really like about Notability, and there are things I really like about Goodnotes, and choose what is best for you. I know now Notability has become a subscription service, and Goodnotes, it's more like just a one-time fee. If you're actually planning on getting the iPad, I'd recommend get it early or get it now, because if you're eventually going to get it, you might as well buy it early and then keep using the same one for a very long time. And also, if you're a student, getting it early in your study journey can be really helpful, because it does take time to get used to, and at first it can be distracting. Everything is so new and fun. The handwriting, the apps, the colors. I remember when I first got it, I spent like a few hours looking at ways to use my iPad, but the novelty does wear off, and you'll know if it actually fits your workflow. But it doesn't matter if you do not have an iPad as a student, there's always ways to work around it. You can still download the apps on the iPad to your laptop. So there is still Notability and Goodnotes for laptop. For me, I think the biggest difference in medical school is anatomy. Because it's such a visual subject, it's really good to draw and annotate and circle and just cover things, different parts of the anatomy. But again, there's always ways to work around it on the laptop. There's the atlas and the models, 3D models on the iPad, but there's also the 3D models on the laptop. So there's always ways to work around it, and there are top students without an iPad. So I would say it would be a great beneficial tool for your studying and learning, but it does depend on how you study, because now that I'm in my clinical years, I actually do find myself using my iPad less. The iPad definitely can't fully replace a laptop. It's just not the same, in my opinion. The laptop is so much more powerful and efficient at doing tasks that require typing. I don't use my iPad for any docs or typing jobs. I mostly just use it for writing. I did try to use it for typing previously. I remember when, like, after a while in medical school, I was trying to use my iPad less, just because it is a 12.9 inch. One of the cons people say is that it's kind of heavy. It's not really heavy, but when you take your laptop, take everything in your backpack, it does add a bit of weight. And when I'm doing like grocery shopping and everything, and just after a long study day, I just don't want to carry as many things. And so I was trying to just use one device, which is my laptop, and try to shift more towards my laptop. I can just carry one around at a time. And that's the key point. The iPad can't fully replace a laptop. That's why you'll see a lot of people get the Magic Keyboard. And at that point, you're adding a pencil, you're adding a keyboard. You're really not that far away from getting another laptop. If you would be choosing between a new phone or a new iPad, I would definitely choose the iPad. But if you're choosing between a new iPad or a new laptop, I would go for the laptop. For more things. As a student, I use it for my exams, my assignments, research, notes. I just use it in so many different important ways that the laptop is definitely a must, but the iPad is a good add-on. I do have a screen protector though, and I have the tempered glass one. I have used Paperlike before. I've used it previously for my drawings. It does wear the tip a lot though, your Apple Pencil tip, and I did use it for all of my finals last year. It's amazing. It's really cool to be writing on paper. When I was using Paperlike previously for a lot of my art, a lot of my notes, I've been using it for like a year and solid amounts of times, and I have had to replace my pencil tip. Over the 6 years, I like replacing Apple Pencil tips, but my Apple Pencil did break down probably like 3 years in-ish, 4 years in. It's not long ago, and I had to get a new Apple Pencil. Now I actually changed my tip to a third-party one. It's kind of like a pen instead of the Apple Pencil, and it doesn't wear off as much. I personally think it's really good. It's really cool. It's like a pen tip instead of those like pencil ones. I actually don't have a monitor, so I use my iPad as a second screen. I can use my MacBook and my iPad together. I can have my MacBook on the side and just have the iPad open, but I can connect my MacBook to the iPad, and I can use the cursor, I can use the keyboard, I can type on the iPad using my laptop, and I can scroll through things. So I actually don't have the magic keyboard. 5 years later, I still use it now, just not as intensely as before for a lot of the digital art stuff and just the way my life has progressed and changed. But I still use it. It's still an incredibly productive tool. The main thing I use my iPad for, and it's really good at, is PDFs and annotations and documents. So I'm never worried that I don't have a textbook. I can always find the online version and annotate it on my iPad. I don't have to carry textbooks around, big documents around. That's the biggest difference I think the iPad has made for me. I'm never worried if I have a book or if I have a textbook or a simple document. I can always have it with me on my iPad. And I do still purchase textbooks though, like the hard copy version. I think it's great to just flip through the pages, but it does give me a sense of security when I don't have something, so I don't find the need to buy every single textbook and can always experience it on my iPad. And if I think it's a really good book, or if I use it so often, I would get like the hard copy version. But that has saved me like a lot of money, and it's helped me be productive in so many ways. So after 5 years, here's what I tell someone if they're thinking of buying an iPad. Think carefully about how you actually work and how you actually study. If you're thinking about handwriting, if you have subjects with lots of diagrams, then the iPad is genuinely amazing. But if you're mostly typing notes, you're comfortable with a laptop for everything, you might not use it as much as you think. It doesn't make you less productive or organized. Some of the best students I know never even touched an iPad. If you have multiple uses for it, this is where the iPad really shines, and that's why I've been using it for 5 years and it's still part of my daily. Do think about all the ways that you can use it. Even the 68GB version, people do still use it for years. So if you would get one, I would definitely recommend getting it early. It's just you'll enjoy it for more time, because if you'll get it eventually, you might as well get it now. It does last for a very long time. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it provided some insight in terms of whether you should get an iPad and kind of how long the iPad will last you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.